Hey guys, Ryan Coleman, Hometown Realty. Welcome on a Saturday. Thank you for tuning in. As always, again, my name is Ryan Coleman, along in the studios with my lovely co-partner in crime, Miss April Coleman.
Well, hello, everyone.
Glad to have you here on a Saturday. Thank you guys for tuning in to Real Estate with Ryan. We've got a good show, as always. As it approaches the fall, we are officially 90 days to the year ends. It's kind of hard to believe, isn't it?
We're in the fall, but it's
It
not
sure doesn't feel
available in
like
Tennessee.
Sure didn't feel like fall out here at 95 and 100 degree
No,
temperatures.
it's horrible.
Is it bothering you?
Yes, so bad. I want it to go away.
All right. So the fall, I saw a post the other day, and they said, well, we'll just skip the fall and go right to the winter.
I'm fine with that, too. I just want colder weather.
Yeah.
I
Hope you
can't
guys
breathe.
doing great. Hope you had a good week. Thank you for tuning in. We've got a good show for you. As always, we got some congratulations, some thank yous, and April's going to run through those and some new listings on the market.
Right. You got it. So we'll start with our congrats on our recent closings. We have Sheltonham out in Farragut. They closed. And Forestdale, we finally got them to the closing table after a little bit of a delay. Marymount, thankful for them. They closed. Crosswinds, Miss McGuire, she finally closed on her house, and now we've put 2 of her lots underneath contract. So congrats to her 3 times over. Congrats to Holly Lane. We are very excited for the Trimbles to be moving up to Virginia, right? Was it Virginia?
Well, the Trimbles, they were so sweet to work with
They
and
were.
so excited to get them relocated. They were in the water, and beautiful home they had, just meticulous maintained. So happy for them the other day.
Yes, they're our last one. And then Stratford as well. So congrats to all of our closings here recently within the last couple weeks. For new contracts, congrats to British Station, put them under contract. Boulder Crest out in Sevierville. Westchester, yay for them.
Congrats.
We're
I know they're
excited.
happy. Super. The
Yes,
second
yes.
time around's a charm.
I know.
Knock on wood.
That's right.
Right.
Gladwood, 3rd time's charm. And then Memorial Drive, we just put that one under contract, and McCaman Road.
So happy for all you guys. And as you can see, just because it's not summer, not really fall neither,
No.
but we're booming and the market is going very, very strong here. Just not enough inventory in the market for us. Constantly working hard, as you can see. Yes, it does happen sometimes. Deals fall through, and we work really hard to get those resold. And thanks for all of our sellers out there, our patience, and the home inspections, and appraisal, and all those
Loans falling through.
crazy things that happen that get sellers really nervous at night. Thank you for your patience with us and staying with us to help you get this to closing. So
You got it.
I was talking to a client the other day, and he said, Ryan, it's Mr. Bolt, and he said, I really don't know how you do this.
Yeah.
And we were there for a couple hours, and deal was going a little sideways.
Yes.
And I said, in real estate, you have your ups, your downs, and then it always gets exciting. But that's why you hired us. We get to deal with all that.
That's right.
I love this business. It's never a dull moment. You never know what you're going to get. I mean, you're dealing with people. You're dealing with multiple people, and there's always surprises.
There is.
Keeps them on your toes. So we've got a good show for you guys tuning in today. I hope you enjoy it. So if you're out there in the marketplace, you don't see a lot of these now, but they're out there, and is it an option in purchasing? So it's talking about foreclosures, bank foreclosures, or either tax sales. We'll include those with them. So foreclosed properties, what you need to know if you're going to buy foreclosed properties. That's what our show is today. Is it a good deal, or is it not? We'll talk about all that, pros and cons. We've bought tons and also helped plenty of clients in the marketplace get great value.
Right.
I remember when I first started in real estate, we had these great clients. We bought a lot of if you're familiar with the HUD properties. So Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac, you got all these different government authorities, but FHA, they're HUD homes, Federal Housing Administrated. And so when the properties go into default, they go back to HUD and they put them on the market for resale through their agents or different vendors. So I had a client that we worked with for several years, and I'd say back 2003, 2004, we bought a lot of these HUD properties as investment properties and really did well. They would come on the market, they would pick them up for maybe about $100,000. They made a little carpet, a little paint, and they were in really good school district areas, really good location. I think they managed maybe 7 or 8 of those.
Oh, wow.
And so the HUD properties were really great opportunities then. I think it was a little bit different market. But if you're looking to purchase a home for your own primary residence as well, HUD can be a great possibility to get in there, do a little sweat equity or any foreclosure. And that's what we're going to talk about today. If you do buy one, whether you're an investor or you're purchasing for your own residence, things you need to know. So
Definitely.
That's going to be a fun show.
I know.
We've done a little foreclosures.
Yes.
Maybe we could talk about that.
Yes. So, you just never know.
What do you think the first thing, if you listen to the audience out there, what do you think the first step is, or the misconception? Let's start there with the show.
Well, misconception. I would think the first step would be if you see that the foreclosure home has come on the market, or at the auction that it's coming on, you can see the website for the auction sales, that you need to go drive by and see it in person.
Sure.
I would think that would be the first step, that you actually need to go look at it.
What I was going to say was the first misconception, I think, is when buyers see foreclosure, they automatically think deal, right?
Oh, yeah.
And so I'd say that starting out, when you're looking at purchasing, whether it's investment or for your residence, just because it's a bank foreclosure doesn't mean it's priced right.
That's true.
So that's the first thing I'd say. Get with a great agent, run your numbers, do your values, and a lot of times it really comes down to condition.
Right.
So, I mean, I would just because it's a bank foreclosure doesn't mean we're going to get the best deal. You should jump on it. Yeah. Because what we're seeing lately, April, as the market's fairly strong for sellers or opportunities that there's a little bit lesser inventory than years in the past, banks are capitalizing on the market value.
Trying to get the most as well.
So banks aren't fire selling them. They're trying to get market value, maybe 10% below market value. But when you take in the amount of work and things that need to be that property, it may not turn out to be a good deal.
Yeah, you got that right.
So things just to think about.
Yeah, we had one client that wanted to go look at a house that was in foreclosure, and when we got there, the floor, do you remember this one? Was literally touching the ground.
Tell the story.
Yes, it was deemed unsafe to walk in, and so I had to stand, literally unlock the door and just stand there. And he was like, "I don't care to walk in." I said, "Well, you're crazy because that floor is touching the ground. I can see the dirt."
No, literally. April brought me over there. We're coming over there as an investor. He was ready to snatch up a deal. And we walked in there, and I thought April likes to exaggerate sometimes. And she said, "Well, it's literally the floor was gone."
Yeah.
And I said, you're exaggerating,
No.
I get there, and it's like you're on a surfboard. You
walk
in there, and I was like, okay, this is where I draw the line. You're good. I'm going outside. So literally, it was really in rough shape. It was a tear down.
No, he was crazy. He was walking all upstairs and all around. And I thought this house could fall in at any moment. But it was funny because he said, "Well, I mean, can you all pull the comps? What do you think?" And my first thought was, this house should be free. I mean, you shouldn't be asking for any money for it.
I told him it's land value only.
Yeah, land value.
So you get something like that, and let's go into what you're looking for on a foreclosure. What is probably the first thing that you should think about in person? And I think that's what April was chatting about. Before you probably set up a showing, you want to do a drive-by. You want to check out the neighborhood. And if it's in a subdivision, you want to go ahead and check your surrounding sales.
Right.
Because that's going to save you and your agent a whole lot of time.
Because we do that a lot. Yeah. For every property.
Yeah. If it doesn't make sense to do on the drive-by, it's not going to make sense when you go through the property. So do your drive-by, know your neighborhood. And I think the biggest thing on the foreclosures is a key factor of the neighborhood. Do the other neighbors keep the grass mowed? Do we have a lot of vehicles in the yard? Do we have things that deter the value?
Exactly.
And you kind of get that feeling, I think, when you go through. Is it, another thing to factor in is the neighborhood a makeup of mostly primary residents, or are there a lot of rental markets?
Right.
And so you need to decide that whether you're, buying for your own residence, or this is going to be an investment and possibly a rental. If you're thinking investment, you want to look at the rental rates. What are some rental market studies in there? What are rents going for in that area, in that school district? So these are things before you even start going through it.
Right,
you need to factor in.
Exactly. Yes, definitely. We actually, and we did a drive-by on one house, and the people were still living there. And we can tell they were living there. We drove by multiple times before making a decision, and then once we made that decision, we felt good about it. And we still kept driving by after we bought it, and they were still living there. It was a little bit of an interesting situation. Remember that?
I do
behind
remember.
West Town?
Lots of stories. Yeah.
Yeah.
And
definitely.
those are some things that you guys have to keep in fact, that some of these foreclosures, you may not even have an opportunity to go
inside.
So you're buying them sight unseen. So you're really getting a good feel of the neighborhood, of the market, what the neighborhood's going to value, and then doing a little bit of comparables.
Right. And if it's vacant, then set up a showing to go inside and look at it.
I mean, we love it when there's an opportunity to be vacant. So we're coming on a break a little bit. I hope you're enjoying this show. We got more to talk about buying a foreclosure, what you guys need to know. So stay with us. We'll be right back with Real Estate with Ryan.
When it comes to the real estate market, turn to the experts that focus on you. With over 20 years experience, Ryan Coleman with Hometown Realty knows what it takes. It's the right marketing. It's the right exposure. Ryan and April will use their expertise each step as they guide you through the home buying and selling process. Ultimately, it's about results.
You need someone you can trust that is committed to you.
You have a lot of choices, but the choice is simple. It's Hometown Realty.
Your friend promised we wouldn't be homeless.
He promised. He's doing everything to fix it.
You need to call and have him fix it now.
Hey,
You
man.
found us a house yet?
No, not yet. Let me call you back. We're working on it.
Ryan Coleman with Hometown
He says he's doing the best he can do, honey.
Well, he's taken too long. I knew we should have gone with Ryan Coleman.
Choosing the right agent is never easy.
Call your hometown experts. We'll take care of all the details and make sure you don't get stuck in a motel. Hey guys, thanks for tuning back into Real Estate with Ryan. If you caught us on the other side of the break or just tuning in the car, we got a good show for you. We're talking about buying a foreclosure, what you need to know if you're going to buy one for your residence, whether you're going to buy one for investment, maybe you're going to fix and flip. That's exciting. Maybe you're going to do it for the first time. What you need to know in any situation, we're going to have you covered here, Real Estate with Ryan. We did want to start real quickly. We got a couple of new listings that we've got coming here to start the second half of the show. So I want to tell you about those, and then we'll dive right back into our show.
Yes, I just have a few to go over. Jones Ridge Road out in Rutledge just hit the market. And coming up is Cedar Lane and Dunaway out in Tazewell. They're both rental properties right now. They can be your home or rentals, whichever you prefer. And we have a home up in Gatlinburg coming soon, Autumn Lane. Look out for that one. We also have Roaring Fork, which is another condo in the same community that we already have pending. So we're going to have one up above.
We've got a neighbor.
Yeah, there's going to be a neighbor. Decatur Highway, it just hit the market. Fulkerson Street out in Tazewell is coming soon. It's about to hit the market. And then Malone Road out in Loudon
So
will
like
be
you're the
coming soon.
Tazewell expert. Sounds
That's
like.
right. You got it. Tazewell's getting hot right now.
It's hot. Don't miss out. So busy. Talking
got
about
it.
foreclosure, what you need to know in that process. As we're coming back from the break, we were chatting a little bit about going through that process, driving through the neighborhood, how to secure the value, and you may not have that opportunity to walk through that property. So make sure that you go with your gut, go with your feelings, run your numbers, because you never know what you may come into
Right.
if people are there.
Exactly.
Before going in the show, tell the audience, April, when you go, are you saying question time? Yeah, good question time, man. Hey, this is Real Estate with Ryan show. You got to let them know.
I know.
So-
I always
so-
tell you I don't like questions, and you ask me
Oh,
anyway.
jeez.
Quiz time.
All right, quiz time. Look, so we're looking at a property, and there's occupants in there. I know a
Yes.
lot of clients that we talk to, or maybe you've never done it before, or you're an owner occupant. This is your first house. What's the risk of buying with them there? I mean, it's obvious what the risk are, but is there? How do you go about that process when somebody's already in there?
Well, another thing that I think may be important is if you can go ahead and find out some title work, or ask somebody, or find out from the county if there can be all sorts of stuff. There was one property that actually the people were living there and the bank foreclosed on them accidentally.
Oh, wow.
And then somebody went to an auction and bought that property, but then they lost out on their money because it was actually their home. And so they
Oh,
weren't
wow.
supposed to lose it. Yeah, so if title work was ran, then you would have known that was a glitch, and like they weren't behind on payments or anything, so apparently. But that's one big thing, is to know that it may be really difficult to get them out of the property. And usually, am I correct that the bank usually will send the sheriff to kind of get them out? Or
Well, no, usually the bank doesn't get involved in that. That's kind of the risk with the foreclosures. I mean, sometimes if the bank still has the property, they'll come deal with that. But usually it doesn't hit the market. What you're finding and what we're finding now, and it's kind of different, banks change their policy, but they'll list the property with the people in it.
Oh yeah, that's
Yeah, I mean, very, very common. And the bank says, well, we're in the process of getting them out, but more than likely, that's kind of on you when you buy the property.
right.
So
to get
you're
'em
gonna
out.
you're gonna get all the surprises.
You will, yes. That's why it's good to do drive-bys and see if the people are living there. The property we bought, they started putting pumpkins out.
Yeah.
And I mean, they knew they were being foreclosed on, and then they started decorating for Halloween and Christmas and everything. And we
Which is
thought, oh,
tough,
gosh.
tough, guys. So if you're
It's
getting
really hard.
if you're getting investments or you're buying for your residence, anytime you're in that scenario where somebody's there, you've got to deal with compassion.
It's hard.
You got to deal with it in the right way. But it is hard. But these are risks you need to know. So the first thing I would say, if you're going to buy one, make sure you run title work. We use Carla Long over at Genesis Title. They do a great job. She does all of my stuff, and run your title work to know what you're going to get involved, whether it's cash or a loan. You don't
Right.
want any surprises. Number two, if it's occupied, expect the worst. Expect that they're going to be there
Right.
for a little while, and you'll need to be prepared to file evictions as soon as you
Yes.
take possession and start that process. That could be a long period of time. So if you're paying cash or if you're getting a loan, make sure you allow that there's going to be a 30 or 60-day time frame before you get the property back.
Yes, definitely.
So
Something else.
I think something also that is very, very important that probably goes overlooked. So if you're buying for investment, it is so important that if the property is occupied, that you have the proper insurance in place as soon as you close.
Yes.
Okay. If you're buying for your residence, some lenders may require certain things. So check with your lender before closing if an occupant's still in the property.
Yes.
Some of our loans are owner occupied, and if there's a tenant or an occupant in there, that may affect you closing at the last minute.
That's very true.
So
Yes, very
a couple
true.
of thoughts there.
And then also with the bank, they will let you, they normally do as is. So they'll let you get an inspection and do all of your inspections, but then they'll make you take it as is and will not do any repairs. So I think a lot of people, I mean, I don't know, what do you think? Do you run into banks actually giving a credit or something for doing
I
repairs?
mean, usually
or?
the banks are always as is, but sometimes we run into issues where there's a lender item on an appraisal that you just can't get around. And a lot of times those items have to be fixed by the seller. The bank's not going to allow them to repair it. So it's at that discretion of the lender or the asset management company if they're going to go ahead and make that repair so the deal will close.
Okay.
Cash is king in this business. Obviously, if you get a
Right.
cash deal, your offer may have a better opportunity than two financed offers.
Exactly.
But it just depends on the condition of the property as well.
And you don't have to have cash
Right.
to purchase. Only usually at the auctions downtown,
Right.
they want you to come with, your
Or
cash
live
in
auctions.
hand.
Yeah. Right. Right.
But one thing
Come
is,
now.
yes, it's crazy. We had one of the same clients, and he actually was up against 40 people
Oh wow.
with his offer. Do you
I
remember that? And he offered above asking price, and he was paying cash. And they all came back and said, "Come back with your highest and best." And so he actually beat out 40 people. So I mean, you never know, who is getting what or what type of loans, but you can get a loan, pay cash, whatever you need to do. So
Well, and then I think when you go through that process, expect that the bank's not going to do a whole lot of work.
right, they're not.
So just make sure if you have a chance to do a walkthrough, or if you do your ride by, go ahead and budget a certain percentage. We say 10 to 15% of whatever your budget is. Go ahead and allocate that because more than likely you're going to go over budget. And if you're going to resell this, make sure you have that factored in.
Yes, exactly. And also remember that not all of the people that go into foreclosure will mess the house up.
Right.
So if you can't go in there to see it, just know that. Some get really angry and will destroy the entire house, and they can do that, and you would never know. And then some, it's just an illness or loss of job, and they've taken care of their house. They just have to leave it.
Yeah.
And so we've ran in kind of to both sides. And
Yep.
so just know that. You just never know how much you're going to get into if it's sight unseen.
Yeah, sometimes if they're vacant and you haven't had a chance to go in, you have an opportunity to kind of peep in the windows or look around, and that's a good opportunity to kind of get a understanding of the condition of the property.
Right, exactly.
What about time frame, April, as far as closing? Do they usually require you, if you're not paying cash, how much time do we have to usually close, or could it take longer?
It usually can take longer. I think a lot of people may have in their mind that it would take 30 days to close, like a normal loan, but there's so much red tape and so many departments that they have to go through and so much paperwork that they have to submit. They could come back and even counteroffer your offer, and it will take at least probably 45, 50 days, if not longer. So it just kind of depends.
I think the banks, you got to understand the banks are in their time frame. You kind of have to hop to their tune and
Right.
move at their pace. But keep in mind, usually 30 to 45 days closing would be ideal, but sometimes it could take longer during that process.
Yes, exactly.
What else do you think is important as we're wrapping the show down? If you're buying a foreclosure, what else to watch out for? Is there anything you can think of as we?
Well, I just think, like we were saying, if you want to purchase a foreclosure home, then just know that you may not get it immediately, even if you're buying cash. And some banks are very quick. I mean, we just had one that literally an offer was submitted. She signed it and we're good. I mean, we only had to deal with her, one person. And so it didn't have to go through this person and that person and take so long, but know that you need to be patient because you never know how long it really is going to take. And you're working with the bank, with the business, and not one individual person most of the time.
I'd recap in saying that there's several loans out there, even for foreclosures, that will allow you to kind of roll in your financing if you need to do that. So that's an option out there. Know that some properties that hit the market that are coming soon, they're going to be listed with an agent. They're not going to do for sale by owner. So if it's not in the process, if you don't see it, that's why you need a great agent waiting, because when they hit the market, they go pretty quickly.
Yes,
So
definitely.
Well, guys, the show always goes quicker than we expect. Thank you so much for tuning in to Real Estate with Ryan and enjoying our Saturday together. Glad to have my partner in crime. If you need us at all, it's an easy number. We say it every week. It's 693-SOLD. That's 693-SOLD. Or you guys watching us on social media, thank you so much for following. If you happen to miss the show, we'll have it up for live broadcasts. Any more content, we'll have that on our website at ryancoleman.org.
You got
you
it.
guys have a great weekend. Hope to see you next weekend.
Thank you.